So I've had a number of people reach out to me and ask if we're on track for our October 14th deadline for getting the Carnival ride done. And the simple answer is no, not a chance. This past month has thrown so many surprises my way, it's not even funny. The biggest surprise of all was my daughter and son-in-law moving. So we spent several weeks helping them move, helping them paint the house, helping them clean, and it took a lot of time away. The other issue is I'm ready to actually do some installation and setup outside, and it's been raining every single week, and during the week, Scott works out of town. He's my number one helper. So without him, I don't get much done. So that's where we're at with it. On the other hand, the party itself that we were trying to have this thing running for has actually been scaled way back. With my daughter moving, she decided she didn't have time to put in and plan the party she was hoping to have with this carnival theme. So the thing we were getting it ready for no longer exists. So it's kind of a wash. So what I've got for you here is a little bit of footage on doing some painting on the ride, but then I have a whole bunch of footage that's just been sitting on my hard drive that I worked on, things that I worked on months ago and never actually shared them with you. So I'm going to show you some stuff that we've been doing here in the shop. All right, one way or another, we're getting paint on this thing this afternoon. This has been a long time coming. This, from memory, requires extensive mixing. It's really thick at the bottom. Let me get my mask on. Starting to smell it already.
5 minutes later.
Taking my mask off long enough to say, I remember last year thinking as I was stirring this that it seemed like it was going to take forever, and then all of a sudden it incorporated. So this is pretty good. This isn't going to take much. Let's do 4 and 4. Let's go out and paint this. My plan right now is to just settle into this over the winter and definitely say it's going to be ready for the spring. Now, I don't know what we're going to do with it in the spring. We're going to take it out and do something with it. I just don't know what it's going to be yet.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Ride of the Week. Each week we scour the internet to bring you a different classic ride that's fallen on hard times. We'll explore rides that have entertained generations of carnival goers and are now looking for a new lease on life.
This week's Ride of the Week was found on the pages of Facebook Marketplace. We found another Eli Bridge Company baby wheel, and this one looks to be a similar vintage to the one that's up in Heritage Park in Alberta, Canada. It's probably somewhere in the mid-20s, based on the slatted footrests. This Ferris wheel was originally in a place called Oscar's Dreamland Park and then made it into a private residence that was actually in a converted church. It sits on what looks like the basement or community room of the church and sticks up through the ceiling into the next floor. This ride looks to be very original, still has the cable drive, and it's being run by a Sears & Roebuck Craftsman motor. It's currently sitting in Billings, Montana, and looking for a new home.
And that's been this week's Ride of the Week.
All right, new project. These are pretty common on chance rides, and this one in particular came off of the space shuttle from Dutch Wonderland. That ride was retired, actually ended up being pieced out. And I ended up with a couple of these banjo lights, thanks to the folks at Majestic Midways. We're just going to use them as shop decorations here, but I think it needs a little bit of rewiring. The rubber cord that currently goes to it is really worn. The sunlight over the years did a number of it, and it's got a twist lock connector that I don't have anything to twist into. Just going to check it out on the inside. It should be good. Replace some light bulbs and then put a new rubber cord on with just a regular plug on the end. This popped out. There would have been a light fixture in here just to illuminate the insides, I believe, held by that spring. It looks like I should have opened the other side because that's how the ground wire is attached. So I guess we'll take off both sides. We've got a grommet here on the other end we need to deal with. I don't know if I'll be able to get this grommet out without tearing it up. Yeah, maybe I'll get this. Oh, look at that. All right, all we need to do is replace this now. So we just got back from Lowe's, and I went there originally thinking I was going to be buying some rubber cord and some plug ends and make my own cord. Then I realized I could buy this stuff here a lot cheaper. And it's a plastic insulation, but we're not using it outside, and we're just using it for decoration, so this will be fine. So all I gotta do is cut this end off and wire it in. Do this first. There we go. And we strip. And we strip. And we strip. Let's get some crimp-on connectors going here. And we're going to use probably this guy. Perfect. All right, let's plug that in, see what happens. All right, we got one that's not working. Yeah, there we go. This in. See about getting our grommet back in. Pretty easy. Well, this one could go up on the wall. So I'm pretty happy with how things have worked out here over the last few days. I had the opportunity to look at the page in the Space Shuttle manual that shows that banjo light we were working on and what that fixture on the inside of the light is supposed to look like. I had speculated that it was probably a tube with a receptacle on either end. Turns out it's actually a 4-bulb receptacle, and the only notation in the manual says that it's modified. So I went out on Amazon, looked around, and sure enough, I found a 4-bulb receptacle that had some metal brackets on it, and I think those brackets have to be removed, and that's probably what they mean by modified. So I bought 2 of those, so we're going to get this opened and hopefully get those fixtures fixed up. This is the fixture, and I think we just need to take off this metal bracket. Now, one thing about this operation that we need to realize right from the start. This lens has been painted multiple times, different types of red paint, so it's probably not going to look necessarily good with these lights shining through it. This may need to be stripped and get it back to just a solid red color. But we're not going to know that till we light it up. So this light was only about $9 on Amazon. Screws are going to have to go back in because it's all that holds the fixture together. It'd sure help if this white wire in here was a little longer. Let's see what these look like. Plug this thing in. There it is. Now let's see what I mean here with this. Let's turn off the lights. Yeah, so I don't know if that shows up on camera, if it's too dark or not. The fixture's in there now, so if we get brighter bulbs, that'll be the next step. We'll get brighter bulbs. All right, so little upgrade. Got some new bulbs. These are 5-watt bulbs. So we're gonna try swapping these out and see what it looks like. Now, I fully suspect that when we do this, it's really gonna show off the paint on the red. We're gonna have to fix it. But one step at a time. Plug that in quick just so we remember what that looks like. So yeah, kind of dim. Yeah, that's a difference, huh? All right, let's see what that looks like. Let me turn out some lights here. Yeah, so the paint on here is very apparent. We need to get that peeled off so it all looks like this here. Hopefully this does not hurt the plastic. Nice thing about citrus strip is it's water soluble and I can just wash it off. Alright, this looks like it might get messy, so I got my gloves on.
Several months later.
Finally got the paint all stripped off of this thing. And we're going to paint it from the inside. I'm going to use the Krylon Fusion paint. There's actually a special kind of paint called lacquerol that's intended for backlit plastic sign use. Unfortunately, I can't find it anywhere in small quantities. Hard part's getting a even coating so it looks right. Put this thing back together. So I expect there's going to be a bit of a hot spot in the center because that's where all the lights are focused. We shall see. Yeah, see, looks pretty good though. The other thing I was considering was a translucent vinyl wrap. That would give a very consistent color.